Should you really avoid pre-shredded cheese when you're making a cheese sauce? Of course, it has anti-caking agents. I think it's kind of a myth. I don't think it really matters. Today, we're gonna put it to the test. We've got 3 cheeses here: store brand block cheddar, store brand shredded cheddar, and store brand Kraft, in case that makes a difference. Now, the reason why people say not to use pre-shredded cheese is that it does have anti-caking agents, usually cornstarch, tapioca starch, potato starch, something along those lines. I don't think it's really a problem because when you make cheese sauce, generally you put starches in to either thicken the cheese sauce or make the cheese more temperature stable. That means that you can heat the cheese to a higher temperature before it breaks if you use some starch. So a lot of times people will toss their freshly shredded cheese with cornstarch, which is like the same thing. So let's make nacho dip and see how each cheese does. So that's just 5 ounces of evaporated milk, 0.2 ounces of sodium citrate, and 5 ounces of the cheese that we're testing. We turn up the heat and we mix. Now let's let these sauces rest so that they can thicken up a little bit. All right, let's give these a go. This is the freshly grated cheese. These have set up considerably. I keep breaking chips. Oh, this is super. This is really smooth, very cheesy. Let's try the pre-shredded cheese. Oh, this one has set up as well. Oh. All right. That's really good too. There's definitely more moisture from the block cheese versus the shredded cheese. But we could always add more moisture. I mean, this stuff will melt really well. I let it set up for a while, but this stuff will melt back down really well. This is the Kraft. These two taste exactly the same. Both pre-shredded cheeses taste almost exactly the same. They might even be both made by Kraft, I don't know. But these two are supposed to be the same brand. All right, total honesty, I do prefer the freshly grated block cheese over the pre-shredded stuff. But it's only because it has a little bit more moisture. The taste is basically the same between all 3 of them. The pre-shredded stuff, I think I would just compensate by adding a little bit more moisture or a little bit less cheese. And I think that that would taste pretty much exactly like this. Okay, well, let's try a bechamel-based sauce. Something you might pour over pasta. It's 1 tablespoon of flour, 1 tablespoon of butter, stirred into a white roux, 1 cup of milk, turn the heat up until it's nice and bubbly, then turn the heat down and we can add 5 ounces of our cheese. Let's pour this over pasta so we can taste. All right, now for the mac and cheese. The bechamel style. This is the block, the grated block of cheese. It's smooth. It's very creamy. It's not as cheesy as a nacho dip. They're very creamy. Here's the store brand shredded cheese, the same brand in theory as the block cheese. These taste exactly the same. There's no difference. Let's try the Kraft and see if there's a big difference.
It's the same. All three of these are exactly the same. I think maybe the stuff we grated ourselves has a little bit, maybe a touch more moisture. But, I mean, it's only a touch. You could always just add more milk. They're all pretty good. I'm going to gain a couple pounds if I keep testing. So I'm going to put this away.
So there you have it. There's practically no difference. Myth busted. There is a little bit more moisture content in the block cheese that we grated ourselves, but you could always just up the liquid amount. If you just want to buy the pre-shredded stuff and save a little bit of time, go for it. It's really not going to make a difference. Or you could save a little money and buy the block and shred it yourself. But honestly, stop listening to people that say that there's this huge difference and you have to shred it yourself, otherwise you won't get a great result, because you will if you just know how to make a good sauce. That's all I got. I'm all cheesed out. Please, please, please hit that like button and then subscribe, and I'll see you next time.